right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the February 20th, 2024 Crest City Council meeting to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and I would ask that you please remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Crest resident Barbara Scolaire served this city for about 12 years. She served on the Plan Commission for 4 years. She served as Alderwoman of Ward 2 for 8 years. Unfortunately, her husband, William Scolaire, 2 weeks ago, February 6th, passed away. We as the city of Crest Hill certainly want to extend our condolences to the Scolaire family, our deepest condolences to the Scolaire family. Bill was well known around the city of Crest Hill. I would ask that you please remember Alderwoman Scolaire and her family in your prayers during this difficult time. And I would ask for a moment of silence in memory of William Scolaire. Thank you. Roll call, please, Chris.
Ray Solomon.
Here.
Glenn Conklin.
Present.
Scott Dyke.
Here.
John Burchett.
Here.
Darrell Jefferson.
Here.
Claudia Gazal. Here. Tina Oberlin. Mark Sepiti.
Here.
Nate Albert.
Here.
And Joe Kubal.
Okay, I did receive a message from Alderman Kubal, so he is excused for the meeting this evening. Moving on with the agenda items, you have before you the minutes of the work session held on January 22nd, 2024. Motion would be in order for approval.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderman Verche for the approval of the work session minutes of January 22nd, 2024. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
And Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
And you also have before you the minutes of the city council meeting held on February 5th, 2024. Motion for approval would be in order.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the February 5th, 2024 city council minutes. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our city attorney. We have Chris Spacey here this evening. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I have no items for tonight's agenda.
Any questions of city attorney?
Yes, I had a resident contact me, and their concern is after we come out of executive session, the meeting's not being televised, and is that a violation of the Open Meetings Act, not having the rest of the meeting not televised after that?
Now, the meeting's published, it's open to the public, so the televising the meeting, that's not a requirement under the Open Meetings Act.
Okay, thank you.
And it is audio taped also.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Moving on to our city administrator, Mr. Tony Graff. Good evening, Tony.
Just one update came from GovHR. Looking at the work session for March 25th is when Ryan Cotton, the representative for the search for the city administrator's position, he'll come to the work session on March 25th and give the semi-finalists update to everyone. So I'll go to executive session and review those candidates. But as of today, there was 23 applicants so far. He felt very strongly that there was at least 11 of them that have met the requirements. So now the closing is on March 4th. They'll start their backgrounds and start narrowing it down, and then he'll give a presentation on the 25th. So, got some work to do yet, but at least we're seeing some good interest in the position.
Are we gonna be presented with those so we can see them?
Yes, yeah, he'll give an update They normally like to rate their rate the candidates that, meet the qualifications and why. And then at the end of the day, it'll be, your choice that he'll say, do you want to narrow it down to 4 or 5 finalists to come in for interviews and assessment? So you'll have a list of those and you'll know who they are and you'll have their background information too.
Okay, thank you. Chris, I forgot to mention this, I had this note sitting here, but on page 7 of the January 22nd minutes, a resident's name is incorrect. They have Charisse Stellato, it's actually Teresa Stellato is her name.
Okay.
She used to live by me, but she doesn't anymore, but I just wanted to let you know that
Okay,
was
we'll
Teresa.
correct that.
Thank you so very kindly.
Okay, thank you, Tony.
Tony, I have a question. Are you done with your report?
Yes,
I have a quick question for you. I understand last week was your first week and you're overwhelmed and you're getting too used to everybody. Are you planning on sending weekly updates or reports of what's happening?
yeah, I figured the way things are moving, it looks like, after my 2 weeks, by Friday, I'm keeping a journal on what's going on. But the first week was really more of an orientation, getting to know everybody and just listening. Starting to get into some of the discussions now and working with the department heads on an individual basis. So I'll be able to provide some more updates of projects and items that you guys definitely are involved in. So Friday, you'll get an updated report.
Awesome. And for the next budget meeting, you will have all the non-union raises ready to review them?
I don't believe we'll have them for the budget itself or for the work session. We're working, each department head, I gave them a task to start working on their performance reviews and recommendations. But I didn't give them a deadline on the 26th because we do have a placeholder in there. But at the end of the day, by the time the budget gets advertised, if that's what we're working on, the draft, yes, we'll have to have an executive session to go over those results. So it won't be the exact dollars until we get that budget down to the final budget for approval. You'll know all the recommended raises or non-raises as it goes.
So it won't be next meeting?
No.
When will it be then?
I think most of them are at, I would say within 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
There was a couple that, people were on vacation, days off, and then I really wanted to focus on the budget, on getting those items to the director itself, and give you the best document we can on March 26th to where we could get to a consensus of what items are left that we have to sort of make a decision on that are basically your decisions in regards to some of the capital part of the budget. So, well, they're working on it aggressively. I'll stay on them. We'll definitely get to it.
Right, thank you. And also last work session, I said made a comment about the cable that needed to be added to the budget because we can't continue like that with the sound, not hearing the resident that are sitting there, they cannot hear us very well. I get text messages through the meeting that certain people that cannot hear, I cannot hear certain people. I'm sure a lot of people here cannot hear. I
Right.
feel like when I move my head, when I'm watching the meeting, you can't hear, I can't continue, like, it's just, and I questioned, and I asked that you guys will involve Jeff from the cable, and I was just talking to him before the meeting, and nobody had contacted him, and I understand there was a meeting last Tuesday for the cable.
I wasn't aware of that, not with me, so.
Didn't this was stated last budget meeting? That they had a meeting?
Don said that he was having a meeting with some
Correct.
sound company.
Yeah. And can we make sure that Jeff is included in all this?
Okay.
Because he
Yeah,
has
it's-
experience and.
It's on my list, but I will, I
No, I
will
totally
add,
understand, but some things like the warranty is gonna be over and we need to take care of that before the warranty is over.
okay,
And the sound, we spend a lot of money on this building and
Yeah.
on the system as well. And I think we need to take care of it before the time goes by.
good point.
Thank you, sir.
Could we have, Tony, for the next work session, is there a way we can have on there discussion of the, not, for the eating tax, the businesses that are still delinquent and haven't also paid their business license, where we're going forward with that, what we're gonna do? 'Cause there's
Definitely,
still-
we could do that. We get an update on that. I know the clerk's office has got an update on the business licenses, which I think she just passed out some information in regards to who hasn't paid yet. But definitely I'll add it to the work session.
All right, real good, thank you.
It's a part of the budget process anyway, we want to
Right,
know.
exactly, but
Yeah.
we got some delinquent ones and what we're gonna do going forward.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Moving
welcome.
on to our Public Works Department, our Director of Public Works, Mike Ulitz. Good evening, Mike.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I have approval of pay request number 18 for Williams Brothers Construction for the East Plant Phosphorus Project. I'm asking council to approve it along with the invoice and the list of bills. Staff will then submit the pay request to the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. Once the city receives this disbursement check from the IEPA, the city will release the check to WBCI, or the Williams Brothers Construction, Inc. We're asking for approval of pay request number 18 to Williams Brothers Construction in the amount of $24,479.41.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Overland, seconded by Alderman Dyke, for the approval of pay request number 18 from Williams Brothers Construction Incorporated with direction to send it to the IEPA for approval and disbursement for the total amount of $24,479.41. Questions or comments?
Yes, Mike, I know you weren't here at the time, and this is a constant burr in my saddle, as they say, that a lot of these documents have the old address on them, or they say 1610 Plainfield Road, which they should not. They should all have the new address. I mean, we've been here like a year now. And if, I know that you didn't do it, but if we could please get these updated to reflect the current times and names. I know that Blaine just left, but some of them still say Mark on them, and, you know,
No problem, we'll take care of that.
thank you so very much.
Roll call, please.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes?
Tina Oberlin,
Yes,
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
I also have approve of a change order with Vissering Construction for an addition of $43,398. This is change order number 4 for the project at the West Treatment Plant. We have met with, along with Strand Associates and Vissering Construction, we've made some modifications to the West Treatment Plant that have resulted in an addition of $43,398. The total value of all change orders to date is a deduction of $1,281,819, including this change order number 4. The contractor did not ask for any time extension, so the project remains on schedule. And so I'm asking for approval of change order with Vissering Construction for an addition of $43,398.
So moved.
second,
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin, for an approval with change order number 4 with Vissering Construction for the West Treatment Plant project for an addition of $43,398, and the total value of all change orders to date is a deduction of $1,281,819, including change order number 14. Questions or comments?
I have the same comments on this one, as I did on the last one. I won't repeat it, but you know what I mean.
I do,
Thank you so kindly.
yes.
Roll call, please.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes?
Tina Oberlin,
Yes,
and Mark, I already did Mark Sepiti. Thank you, motion carries.
Also before you is an approval of pay request number 13 for Vissering Construction with direction to send it to the IEPA for approval and disbursement for a total amount of $821,186.40. Strand and staff have reviewed the attached pay request from Vissering for the West Plant Expansion Project and are asking council to approve it along with the invoice in the list of bills.
so moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Jefferson, for the approval of pay request number 13 from Vissering Construction Incorporated, with direction to send it to IPA for approval and disbursement for a total amount of $821,186.40. Roll call, please.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes?
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
I'm also handling the council memos for the city engineer for Ron. And we spoke about this at our work session, the 2025 sidewalk cutting program. The scope of the work was approved by council, including evaluation of existing sidewalks based on the criteria set by the city to determine required repairs. What we're asking for here is a resolution approving an agreement for 2025 sidewalk cutting program survey by and between the city of Crest Hill and Safe Step LLC for a cost of $60,000.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of a resolution approving an agreement for the 2025 sidewalk cutting program survey and between the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and Safe Step LLC for a cost of $60,000. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett. Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 1207.
And then I also have I'm asking for approval of a resolution approving an agreement for Old City Hall Phase 2 assessment by and between the city of Crest Hill, Illinois, and ECS Midwest LLC for an amount of $15,635. We also discussed this at our last meeting. We found some asbestos in some materials at the Old City Hall. We're asking for an agreement with ECS Midwest for a further investigation on how we can remove of that. And we also found some lead paint, and so we're asking them to do those items as well.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of a resolution approving an agreement for Old City Hall Phase 2 assessment by and between the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and ECS Midwest LLC for an amount of $15,635. Questions or comments? And again, all 5 of these items were discussed last Monday night at the work session. Roll call, please.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Burchett. Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
And Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 1208.
That's all I have.
Okay, any questions of Mike with Public Works?
I do. Mike, I want to thank you first of all for taking everything so quickly since you came and for bothering you yesterday. I totally forgot the city was shut down.
Not a problem.
So I appreciate the call. But that brought me to, and again, I know you're new and you're trying to catch up with everything, but there's certain things that we need to handle. I realized that the last time that we have a hydrant flushing citywide, it was April 29, 22. So last year we didn't have any, I don't know, because of the move of the building. We haven't have anything, as you know. When I contacted you yesterday, there's a lot of like yellow water in certain areas, and I think it's time that we do the program. And I understand we don't do it until April when it gets warm up. Are you planning, by chance, on doing this?
Absolutely, yes. After we talked about it yesterday, that was on my list to be scheduled for when we get, I know we've got some warm weather coming up the next couple of days, but when we get some really good warm weather coming up, we're gonna start doing some of our hot spots, and that's one of our hot spots. We'll take care of our hot spots first, and then we'll start flushing hydrants on a regular basis.
Awesome. And also, I'm not sure if you're aware, we also have a fire hydrant painting program, which the last time was done was October 22. And last year, again, we didn't do it. I know we budget every year for it. So can you look to see if we still have, if they've used this money from last year and why it was not done? And if we're planning on finish it, because we still have some yellow hydrant when everything has to be blue.
Yes.
So,
I will check and see if we have money left in the budget yet this year, and maybe we can get somebody out again once the weather warms up, get those hydrants, and maybe we can get, I'll check into if money was spent this year on that. Obviously, if it has not, let's try and get that done before the next year's
right, so
budget.
it should be 23
Right.
budget money. It should carry to this year. If it's possible, we can do everything that was not done last year plus this year.
Plus this year, yep,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
I thought last year, I was told there was some kind of delay with the paint color and the product, so. that
I'll look
should-
into it.
Yeah, okay.
And also, we got some hydrants, I don't know if there's any coverage of warranty, but some of them had really faded, they're like a pale blue now. So I don't know if there's any kind of warranty on the paint on those or what.
Some that we painted
Yeah, in the past, yeah.
in the past?
Yeah, they're all chalky looking.
Okay. If you give me an area, I can look at them and see.
Okay,
If you just want to give me an email or something, that'd be great.
all right,
And I can check into what kind of warranty there might be out there for it.
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I apologize to dump all this on you.
Not a
We're
problem.
gonna take advantage of the warm weather that's coming up.
Well, I'm just gonna dump a compliment on you as well. I have talked to several people from your past employer over the last week at my job, and they all had remarkably nice things to say about you. Not a bad word was uttered about you, so that's really wonderful, and kudos to you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So the Christmas cards paid off.
Apparently, the money inside helped too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Mike. Moving on to community development, our community development director, Ron Metzner.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. I don't have anything on the agenda tonight, but I did want to take this opportunity to provide just a brief update on the status of the Walgreens located at 2379 Plainfield Road. Middle of last week, it was brought to my attention that there's a possibility that the store would be closing. I reached out to the store manager first and then had a couple of follow-up conversations with individuals at the corporate offices, and then late this afternoon, I talked with the district manager. The store is closing. Initially, the report was that it would be closing on March 19th to the public. The district manager confirmed this evening or late this afternoon that that's not the case, that closing date has been extended outwards. He did not have a specific date to which it had been extended to, but promised to find out what that date would be and notify me so I could share that information with the City Council. In my communications with the various people at Walgreens, I've asked them if there was anything that the city could or should have done to prevent this store from closing. I also asked what is the reason for the closing, and if there's contact information for the property owner. It's a leased store, so we can reach out to that property owner to understand what the future plans are and availability of that location for a new tenant. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get answers to any of those questions at this point in time. I am supposed to be hearing back from another corporate employee sometime this week, and as I obtain additional information, I'll make sure that that information is passed on to the City Council, maybe through the report that Tony's going to be providing to the City Council every other week.
Okay, any questions to Ron?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you for following up on that Walgreens. And is there a way we can have a meeting, or you can have a meeting with Roger Duba regarding that strip mall Alpha Division? It's Roger Duba, he's the owner of the strip mall Alpha Division.
Sure. Is there something specific that you would like me to
Yes, it
address?
was looking more vacant every day. A lot of the signs have gone right now, so we're not sure if the daycare's still there. It looks like they're shutting down. The strip mall does not look good. Is there a way we can meet with him where we can have some ideas how we can promote the business? It's across from Ward 2. It is in Ward 2. And a lot of the residents, they don't like the way it feels. It feels like a ghost town right there, and they don't know what's happening. We have the cheesecake there that is no longer there. We have a new business coming up on the corner. Understanding it's for autism, but a lot of the signs are gone. So can we find out what's going on and how we can work with him to fill the strip mall and what's going on?
Yeah, I can reach out and see if I can get a meeting
I
scheduled.
appreciate that, thank you.
In addition to that, the realtor signs that are sitting out in the grass, you could barely read those. The paint is, peeled so bad. Maybe we could reach out to that person too and have them improve the wording on the sign.
This is for the strip center, or is this?
Yes,
Okay.
same location.
Okay, thanks, Ron. Moving on to our police department, our police chief, Ed Clark. Good evening, Ed.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have anything this evening on the agenda. The only thing I would like to add is at March 9th, the police department will be participating again in the Special Olympics Torch Run Polar Plunge in Braidwood at the Braidwood Rec Center at noon. So there'll be a contingent. Hopefully the weather's like it is right now. Won't be much of a polar plunge, but our luck, it'll change like it did last time. So, but we will be doing that, and that's the benefits Special Olympics of Illinois. But I would be willing to entertain any questions.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. Well, actually, it is a question as well, and it's a concern. As you know, I reach out to you, and because it needs to go on record, and the rest of the council, they need to know that. I know back in this fall, Cedarwood and Gaylord, it was redone, and it was stripped different. And it caused a lot of comments and back and forth on social media. And I didn't took it very serious for the fact that every time there's a change, obviously resident, they're gonna complain or they're gonna make their point of view, which is their choice, right? I have getting, and I can prove all that, that's not just talk, and I know the mayor have got one of the emails, but I've gotten several phone calls, I have a lot of text messages that I can show about, and especially from the elderly, that they're not happy about how unsafe is. There's no left turn, it's just the way it merged the whole thing is very dangerous. And we have sat here over and over, over a stop sign that we have gone to work session, have changed it just because of one council person or one resident or one association that have requested that. I think it's time to put this back on the table and discuss it and make sure there's no major accident that's gonna happen. And I know it's gonna cost a little money, but safety comes first. And I talked to Ron several times, and he said it was an engineering decision. I won't believe that. It's nothing against Ron, but sometimes if it's not wrong, why you wanna fix it? Why you wanna ruin it? If it was doing well, why we have to change it now? So I would like this on the agenda to look into it and before a major tragedy, especially for elderly that are having a hard time with it.
Absolutely, we can do that. Alderman, we can also, if I can talk to you a little bit, we can kind of get an idea of how many complaints, and if you can kind of share that with me,
Of course.
I can add
show
that
you
to my
everything.
memo as well.
I always back up what I say.
Absolutely.
Claudia, just to clarify, you're talking about the restriping that we did on Theodore Street
Correct,
at the intersection?
correct,
Going westbound.
correct.
Well, east and westbound. Both sides were redone.
Correct.
Add a turn
They
lane.
both merge into one lane.
Right, the inner lane has to get over to the right side, and the left-hand lane then becomes the turn lane, so. It's no different than on Division Street as you're going eastbound approaching Gaylord, it's the same concept, how it kind of splits off. So. I'm sure there's rules and regulations in regards to the engineering side and what needs to be done, so.
Well, I would like to see those rules. If it's like the law, are we breaking the law by changing it, or?
I don't know, I'm not the engineer, but I know I've.
Well, I would
I've
like to
talked
look
with
into
Ron
it,
too, and it's
actually.
the same
as a question.
comments about,
Sorry, Council, I have a minor comment. With the water main that's supposed to come up Gaylord for the water coming
Lake
from the
Michigan?
city, there'll be a time in the next year or two where that whole area will be torn up, or is planned to be torn up for the.
your name, sir?
I'm sorry, I'm Dominic Catone with Strand. As part of the Joliet Water Commission stuff, up Cedarwood and Gaylord there, the new 60-inch water main is planned next to is that the area you're talking
I
about?
think she's talking about the Theodore going the other way, aren't you, Claudia?
It's the
Well,
intersection.
it's gonna affect the entire intersection.
Yeah, I know,
Right.
but I see how they striped those. I saw them when I went to training yesterday, and these big huge stripes across instead of the turn lane.
For what it's worth. Thank you.
Thanks, Dominic.
No problem.
Okay, anybody else for Ed? Thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Mayor's report, I do not have any agenda items tonight, but I do have some good news. We received a phone call from the Joliet Herald News a couple weeks ago, and that survey that they do asking for the best of this, the best of that. Well, the city of Crest Hill is going to receive an award from the Joliet Herald News for one of the top workplaces to work at in Will County. So that's a very good honor for the city of Crest Hill. I guess they're gonna do some advertising here in a couple weeks, I believe in March, for all of the things that they were asking for, what's the best of in the area. So congratulations to all of our employees for the hard work they do, and thank them very much for their commitment, their dedication, and the loyalty that they have to the city of Crest Hill. With that, anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer them.
I just have a quick question, Mayor, and it's about your moment of silence that you did after the meeting. Bill and Barb are really close friends of mine. So Barb, my condolences. But I have a question, like, do you pick and choose who you wanna take a moment of silence and who you wanna, I mean, my dad passed away in December, he didn't even say a word to me. Is that like because you don't like me, or it's just you pick and choose who? It's not funny. I don't think it's funny. My dad, that's my dad. That's my dad. A lot of people wished me here, gave me condolences. So as Tina Oberlin, she suffered a major thing 2 years ago, and I don't see you recognizing any of us. But I'm just wondering, it's I just don't get you sometimes. But of course, you're not gonna comment about
I
it.
apologize if I offended you, I
Oh,
tried to do my best.
I'm not offended, because you cannot take my grief, you cannot take my pain, that's my pain. I'm just saying, it would be logic to respect everybody equally, not pick and choose. That's all.
Point well taken. All right, moving on, city clerk's report. Our city clerk, Christine Verche Hall.
Good evening. I have a request from Michael, and I hope I say his last name right, Vallejo, of Scorpion Dance. He is requesting to use his 6 additional permits for the year due to the fact that his permanent sign is not ready for use yet. Council, your decision.
So move.
Second.
I'm sorry. I'm here to represent my son. He couldn't make it today. Okay, the problem is he does have a temporary sign on the side walls of the building, and I believe they're making him take him down, which we don't understand why he hasn't taken down their signs on that same building, on the side building across the street. Everybody has signs, and those signs have been there. Sorry, I'm not feeling good today. I have strep throat, but it's gone already. And they've been there for years. I live in Joliet. I drive by there to work every day. Those signs been there for years. And my son decides to open a business, and they want him to get them down. And I don't think that's fair. So I wanted to know why
Well, is
you
this-
choose and pick who keeps it and who doesn't.
Is this application fixing the issue that she's talking about, or is this something totally different?
This will fix the, I was not aware of, they asked you to take them down?
Yes, they asked us to take the 2 signs down, and he does have a temporary banner in front of his business, because economically right now he's just starting. He's planning on putting up a nice sign, electric sign. So he was asking for an extension for at least 90 or 120 while he makes up a little money to put a nice sign. But the sign, my thing is the sign, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous, excuse me. The signs on the side of the window, that's what's confusing us. I have pictures of all the business around there, they all have signs, and they've been there for years. I don't understand why he has to take them down.
Okay,
And
first, we have your name for the record?
Maria Aguirre.
Okay.
I'm Michael Vallejo's mom.
All right, let me ask our Community Development Director, Ron, you have any information in regards to this one?
No, unfortunately, I don't have any information about this, but if you can share your phone number, I can give you a call tomorrow
I have pictures, and I can share whatever you.
and connect with our building commissioner, who's probably been involved with this, and help
Because they're
answer the
only giving
questions
him a
that.
10-day permit to have a temporary sign. When you open a business, you need to promote it, put signs, and they're not allowing him to keep those signs up, and I just don't think it's fair. When I have pictures like that same building has signs on the sides from the other business, and those signs have been there for 3, 4, 5 years, and those are the same signs up there. And, he had asked to put some letters on, I think there's some wood pieces on top of his business. He wanted to put some letters, and they said it was not allowed. Across the street, they have the same thing that he's requesting, and they're not giving him permission to do that because it's wood and it could cause fire, which I understand it. But they were gonna remove the electricity, from that sign and just put the letters on the board. I have pictures, I could show you what I mean. Somebody would need to drive by there to see what I mean. And like I said, I just don't think, he's being treated fairly when other businesses have the signs for years. And he comes up, he's starting from scratch. All his money he inverted to remodel it, he has no money for signs, so I'm just asking for extensions on the temporary sign.
Okay, so unfortunately, I don't think there's anybody here that can answer that question tonight. So Ron will get in touch with you tomorrow if you give him your phone number, but there is a request here, and I heard him, was it a motion by Alderman Albert?
Second.
To have, for the approval of 6 additional temporary sign permits for Scorpion Dance located at 2203 Plainfield Road, seconded by Alderperson Overland. Questions or comments of the
Well,
motion?
I have one question. They're paying do they have to pay another fee? Well, I would like this investigated because of what she said. I know that's not you that does it, but, if other people are doing the same thing and they're not doing this and they're not paying this, that's not really fair. So I want us to definitely look into this.
Is it across the street, Joliet?
No.
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 You know what it is, Tina,
Yeah.
some of the business, the one business on Sweetbriar actually just faces Sweetbriar, and that's where some signs are. Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking by the car wash?
She's talking about the old bake shop that was there. That's where Scorpion's at, correct?
Scorpion is that, there's a mechanic shop in the corner and
And then the
a
barber shop.
computer fixing place,
Right.
and that's strip mall. And across the street is that wood stove restaurant,
Yeah,
whatever.
but
They
where-
have some wood letter signs, and my son wanted it, and they told him it was not allowed.
Okay.
So
But where are you talking about the banners on the building? Is that on
It's
the
just a-
side of the?
He had
Can
one
I show
out in
you a
front
picture? I
before,
really-
didn't he?
I'm sorry?
He had one out in front before, didn't he, a banner?
He still has it
Yeah.
there, and that was a temporary one they gave him.
Right.
But it's over. He wanted to ask for an extension, still more time, because he can't afford to do the sign. But what I'm here to argue too is that why does he have to take the other 2 down where there's signs there for years? And the owner gave him permission to, because everybody has them there. But I would like to show you this. So this is what he has in front of the business. And this is the side of the building, you see? From here to that side is
But there's no other banners on that
on
side.
the other side there.
On the other side, but that's the only frontage that guy has to put signage up.
And then you got this one here, you got that, and you got that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this is the only spot this gentleman has a spot to put a sign for his business, because he doesn't have frontage on Plainfield Road.
But this other one does.
But that's your sign.
No, the one above it, computer sales.
Okay. Yeah, obviously, like the mayor said, we have 2 separate issues here that Ron and Don will be able to help you out
And
with.
these are the ones, he was trying to do something like that temporarily, and they told him it was not allowed it, and this is, it's right across the street.
Right, and I don't have the answers, but sometimes those things are grandfathered in. That place has been there for a long time, but that's not my department, that's Ron's department to answer that.
Before you leave, give Ron on the end there your phone number, and he can be in touch with you with the building commissioner tomorrow. Fair enough?
Thank you.
Okay, but the approval has been granted for the 6 temporary
We didn't vote on it yet, did we?
No, okay.
Motion's only were made.
And
Go
for
ahead,
how
roll
long
call.
would it be approved for the temporary?
Pardon me?
For how long am I granted for the sign?
I believe it says here 60
60
consecutive
consecutive
days.
March 13th to
60
May
days.
13th.
60 days
months.
starting from today?
March 13th to May 13th, it says.
Let us vote first, okay? Chris?
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Rashay. Yes. Motion carries, thank you.
All right, if you just, Ron, maybe go out in the hallway with her and get her phone number, and then we'll be in contact with you
All right,
tomorrow,
thank you.
okay? All right,
Thank you.
thanks. Okay, Chris, next.
Okay, we have a business here that would like to speak to the council about his penalty fees. He is asking council to waive them if possible. Sir, I'm gonna let you go ahead and,
Thank you, Christine. My name is Tom Hooks. I own Taboo in, I've been there since 1992, a merchant here in Crest Hill. And what happened was that I got the packet from her for the various business licenses. One of them includes a sexually oriented business license, which is $1,200. What happened, it came in December 15th. I put it on my desk, and because I turned 70, I forget things, and I simply forgot to fill it out properly and send it in on time. When I realized that I was late, I brought it over immediately, but it's $4,800 that I would have to pay, so I'm asking for indulgence and forgiveness from a person that's been a merchant of yours for a long time.
he already did pay for all of his license, it's just outstanding late fees.
Right. Yeah, I've paid on time for every year since 1992. It was just an oversight on my part. Like I said, I have senior moments now, and I wish this was the only thing that I did that, I should remember, but I just simply forgot it.
But you did receive letters
Oh,
prior to?
here's what happened, Mayor. I got the applications packet on 15th, put it on my desk, and Christine was sending emails to remind people, but it was going to an email that I never saw, and that wasn't her fault, that was our fault. It was an old email address, and we've since corrected that. And so I just simply forgot it because it wasn't due until the end of January, and I just simply forgot it. I can't blame anybody but myself for this error. So like I said, I've been a merchant for a long time, and was just hoping not to have to pay that $4,800 as a late fee. Not the
So you're
license
asking
fee.
for a waiver
Yes, please.
of the entire amount?
Oh, no,
Just the
no,
4,800?
I would pay what I owe, but not the extra. See, because the license
You're asking
asks,
for a waiver of the penalty?
yes, exactly,
That would be council's decision.
right. I realize that. That's what she told me.
What's the difference between the license and the,
It's,
what's the
Penalty.
penalty fee that
3 times.
was imposed?
$4,050.
The
For all
three
three of them?
It's 3 times the fee?
It's 3 times
of the license itself?
the business.
right.
And that's where the 200, the 400, and the 4,800 come in?
The 48 includes the business license, the original license fee, but he has already paid that. So what's outstanding is $4,050.
That's the penalty on the permit fee for the sexually orientated business.
No, you have not had paid February 16th. Yeah, paid it. Yeah, business.
Man.
Tony?
Just for other information to consider is, we do have other businesses that have contacted us with this late penalty fee. They have all good reasons why they forgot. And I know Christine put together a list of a few other businesses that would also like to have a waiver if one's granted. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3 different businesses. Each one of them is $450 in fees. They'd be asking to waive.
Tony, can you repeat that number again? For some
There's
sake?
3 of them, $450 each of them would have to pay. They're small businesses, so you're looking at, $50 for the business license, $100 for the burglar, and somebody got $150 times 3 goes to $450. So it seems to be, and we do have other businesses that have paid the penalty. The clerk's office did put together a list for, I want to know how many actually have been paying penalties without question at all in regards to it. They've been paying the penalties. So we do have quite a few that have paid penalties. I do know that historically, we have less and less businesses that pay penalties from years ago, talking to the clerk's office. So it's getting better in one respect. It's pretty, I'll say the penalty seems to be pretty steep for it just being a day late or 5 days late. So I think it might be a discussion we should probably have in a work session. This has been this way for decades, from what I'm being told. And a lot of cities, in my experience, is you graduate the penalties. If they don't pay within 15 days, it goes to another amount. And when this was put into place, the adjudication hearing process was just beginning. So we do have mechanisms that if there is a challenge where they're not gonna pay, because they say, oh, the penalty's nothing, so I'm not gonna pay. Well, if they get a ticket, that could be up to $750 to fine that the hearing officer could do. So we do as a city have a mechanism to add on the encouragement for business owners to pay on time. If they do pay late, besides having a small fee, sort of like on your tax bill. You got a small percentage if you don't pay. So I think that's something we should have further discussion on, not tonight, but I wanted you to be aware there is 3 others that contacted us that did not want to come to a meeting at this point, not because they didn't want to be in the meeting, but they sort of said, let Tom's, sort of carry the flag for him. So.
This is news to me.
Yeah, it is. It's all happens quickly at this point in time. But so if you waive the fee for them, you got 3 others that is requesting the same thing.
Well, not only that, Tony, we have a business that Don Seaman and the attorney we spoke today, because they reached out to me and they owe $750 because they missed
Yes.
the hearing, they didn't show up.
Right.
And we're talking with Mike Stiff today, is like, where do we start, where do we end? They would send a letter, they would hand out the letter that they were supposed to come to the, this hearing, and then they show up, but now the city has to pay the $750. It's just, if we open this can of worms, where do you stop? Is it fair to waive it for one and not for other?
I agree. It's hard for me to say this at, senior moment is gonna cost you $4,000.
Right.
But I think it also will send a message to us as a city that maybe we do need to look at our fee schedule. Because you're not the only one that's saying that this seems to be excessive for especially if how many years you got, 20-some years,
Right.
30-some years almost.
32, actually.
Of being on time.
Right. I've never been late before.
God bless you. Thank you for that. I think it's,
Chris, do we have any other mechanisms in place? He got the initial packet on December 15th, but besides the email, is there any other reach outs or mails that they receive?
I'll let Karen handle that one.
Well, usually we will email, like how he said we did. We emailed like around that week of the January 31st. But unfortunately, when I was sick, I was out for a couple days. Sam was out, and then I had a death in the family. So they all didn't kind of go out that very last week. But we do email, and then we send our final notice email.
It's just emails, though. There's no other.
If they don't provide us, if we get like a notification saying that the email was undeliverable, we'll try to phone call them. Otherwise, if we don't have an email, or if they didn't provide us with an email, we'll call them also.
Did you get a notification that his email was undeliverable?
No. It's just an old email that we changed it so that this can't happen again. It's going directly to my personal email now, so.
How many letters did you send him?
Total 3.
What did you say?
The original letter,
The original, and then.
Yeah.
the reminder, and then the final.
Oh, I never got any, emails,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. I missed all the emails. I didn't,
I'm talking
I thought
about
she was
mail.
saying she
Oh,
mailed
mail
it.
in the
If I'd
mail.
gotten it in the
Mail
mail, I
one time
would've,
only? It should be
I
more
would've
than
just
one.
paid it.
Did you get one in the mail, though?
The original applications I got 3 large packets, you know, you fill them out, it's burglary alarm, it's, sexually oriented business, and the other one, and I filled, those came in 3 separate envelopes on the 15th. And like I said, I set aside, forgot about it, and, because it was the end of January, I thought, well, I'll do this the last week of January, and I just didn't remember. It's nobody's fault but my own. So.
You know, Mr. Hooks, I appreciate your honesty and your request tonight, but it's a slippery slope to go down to start waiving these fees. You know, a couple of weeks ago, we had a similar circumstance where they still had to pay all the fees, we just gave them a deadline, a different deadline. You know, I'm late on paying my water bill just about every time it comes, and I don't get a break on the fees, I don't get a waiver.
The one thing that I thought is that I can see, like, there's, on the list, it shows you what you're gonna pay when you're late, right? And the sexually oriented business thing is, I think, is a real sock. I mean, I can absolutely see if you're late with your burglar alarm and your other thing, it's what is it, $150 or something like that? And, but $4,800 is, you know, bricks and mortar businesses, we heard from Walgreens, are struggling. You know, I'm struggling, we don't do the business we used to. And it's, you know, it's tough being a merchant selling anything. And, you know, if Walgreens is having a problem, you can imagine what a small person like me has. So, like I said, I've been on time for, well, it's been since 1992. I haven't been a day late.
This particular permit, I believe that Mr. Hooks is the only one that has this.
Right. And by the way, there are other people that sell similar merchandise to me in Crest Hill. So.
Can I ask, why is it $4,800? I mean, we're in February and it was late January after February 1st.
The original business license for the sexually oriented items is $1,200. Once you're late, it's 3 times that amount.
Okay.
In penalty, or would it?
Penalty.
In
Mhm.
penalty.
The penalty is 3
Penalty on
times
top
the
of the
amount.
license.
Right.
Just like the
That's why I'm here.
like the business is 50, he pays 50, and then 3 times the amount of 50 is 150 would be his penalty for the business license.
And I agree, that seems really steep, but I like Tony's suggestion on, in the near future, to look at the whole schedule of penalties, but unfortunately, we have this in the books now, and, you know, you approve one it's gonna be opening up the door to more people that are gonna want fees waived. Now, I feel for you, I do. And hopefully we'll rectify it in the future so it doesn't affect future businesses quite so hard, but, you know, we do have this in the books now, and I just think we should follow it.
If I might volunteer from a budgetary standpoint, when we take a look at our income for the year, we base it on the income on the cost of business licenses. It's not like a budgetary item that we include in our estimate of revenue fees. So it's not gonna affect, in terms of like moving forward, what we're looking at in terms of income. What we do hope to have is, as far as our revenue side is to have viable, alive businesses that contribute to our economy through sales tax and through the property tax in the building that they're housed in. So from my perspective, we like to see compliance more than we like to see penalty. The penalty should be something that's penal, yet not overburdening. We don't want to have a penalty that we lose the whole income of a business because it's too harsh. In a case of this, perhaps it could be considered to lessen that.
Let me offer this as a suggestion and a compromise. Alderman Dyke, you asked to have this on the work session next week for the business licenses and the places for eating tax, correct?
Right.
What about if council would consider tabling this for this evening? We have a discussion on the 26th, next Monday night in regards to this, and we can bring it back to the table the first meeting in March.
I can concur with that.
What's that, Darrell?
I can concur with that.
I think the understanding needs to be that they're not going to be receiving citations from the building department.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll notify the building department to hold off.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a motion, Darrell?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderman Dyke for tabling this issue until further discussion at the February 26th work session.
I have a question regarding that, if it'll be tabled, how will it, how will tabling it affect the other businesses that you've been already contacted with regarding their late fees? Are they gonna still be
Well,
responsible for those?
I know one said their checks in the mail. I think another one came in and paid already, his business license fee. Chris, did he come in to get? So they're doing like what Tom has done. They've come in and paid the actual license fees. They haven't paid the penalty. So I think we just notify code enforcement right now, any of these that are out there, that they've got notice on, to put a hold on it till we have some discussion next Monday.
I really believe we need to look into next week when we put this on the agenda, that one-time mail-in is not enough before you start, sending these
Right.
citations. Because mail can get lost, you gotta give people at least 2 chances. And I thank you for your honesty, you're saying you didn't receive it, but I think minimum should be 2 letters, not emails, an actual letter. Just
If I
like the
could
billing, if
volunteer,
you miss
one
a
thought
payment.
is that when I get that packet next year, I'm gonna fill it out and bring it over there
No, I
right that
understand,
same
but
day, so I
But
don't forget
again,
it.
you don't know if the mail lately always, mail gets lost, so I
Yeah.
think minimum we need two times to send it to anything, to resident, to a business.
Right.
All right, roll call on the tabling, Chris?
John Rashay?
Yeah.
Darrell Jefferson?
Yes.
Claudia Gazal?
Yes.
Tina Oberlin?
Yes.
Mark Sepiti?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Scott Dyke?
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Could I ask one question? What ward am I in? I'm at 1916
Ward
Plainfield Road. Oh, you're the guy. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Thank you.
And
Okay.
just to follow up with what Mr. Graff was saying, we do have 49 other businesses that have not paid yet. With the addition of the 3 that are asking for waivers. So, just to let you guys know.
So we got lots to discuss next week.
Yes. And that's all I have to report.
All right, any questions of the clerk?
Can
All right.
we have those businesses next week at the work session? Thank you.
Yeah, could you have that list and also what the late penalty
We'll get
fees
the
would be
ordinance,
associated with their
for you,
license?
and we'll send a separate attachment with the businesses.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Chris. Moving on to our city treasurer's report, our treasurer, Glenn Conklin. Good evening, Glenn.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to report regular and overtime payroll from January 29th, 2024 to February 11th the same year in the amount of $257,602.12. I seek a motion for approval on our list of bills issued through February 21st, 2024, in the amount of $3,223,844.81.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
We have motion for an approval of the bills by Alderperson Oberlin, second by Alderman Sapiti. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you all. I want to thank Nate Albert for picking up on a boo-boo we did. We'll try to get that corrected for next time. That's it from me, unless anybody has any questions.
Any questions of the treasurer?
I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
All right, thanks,
Thank you.
Glenn. Moving on to unfinished business, we have nothing on the agenda. Anyone? New business? Committee liaison reports, anybody? City council comments, positive city council comments, anything you'd like to share with your constituents? We'll begin with Ward 4, Alderman Albert.
Yes, Mayor, I got a couple of announcements. I just had it up on my phone, I apologize. The Knights of Columbus from St. Anne's and St. Ambrose is hosting a corned beef and cabbage dinner on Saturday, March 16th at St. Ambrose Hall. And tickets are $20 for a corned beef dinner and cabbage and fixins. And there's also a mac and cheese option that's available for the kids. Just lost it too. I'm gonna give you a phone number for people to call for tickets. While I look for that, I also want to announce that the Crest Lions Club is hosting an Easter egg hunt on Saturday, March 30th at 12 o'clock noon sharp in the field near Richland School. That is for all children ages newborn to 10 years old. A free community event hosted by the Crest Lions Club. And that's it, Mayor. You can't find it at the moment.
Alderman Sapiti?
Nothing tonight.
Alderperson Oberlin?
Nothing tonight.
Alderwoman Gazal?
Yes, next Saturday, March 2nd, we'll be hosting the Kids Pop-Up Pantry at the City Hall parking lot from 12 to 2 p.m. That's it, Mayor.
Alderman Jefferson?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Alderman Verche?
Nothing?
Alderman Dyke?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Mayor found the phone number. So if anybody's interested in that corned beef and cabbage dinner at St. Ambrose Hall, tickets can be purchased by calling Harry Blackburn at 312-401-2236.
Are the children's tickets the same price?
The mac and cheese is $7.
Thank you.
Okay, public comment. Anyone like to address city council, please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Address is optional. Roxanne?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Roxanne Cruzetta, 1621 Wilcox Street. I appeared before this body last council meeting to make everyone aware of all the crime and the problems that we're having in my neighborhood. I want to publicly tonight thank all of you for so generously listening to me, and especially thank you to our police chief, Ed Clark. Since that point in time, the police department has shown their presence tremendously in my area. I know the chief immediately jumped on this to help. So I just wanted to publicly thank all of you for listening to me, and especially Chief Clark. And Chief, if you would please convey our heartfelt thanks to all of your officers as well. We appreciate from the bottom of our hearts. And that's all I had to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rocky.
Stu?
Stuart Swifer, Glenwood Club. I was just wondering if I can get a follow-up. I've had a couple of our residents question me. In the work session last week, there was discussion that the city is receiving a credit of some sort from from the waste contractor in regards to the loss of pickup that we received. Where is that standing? I know in a straw poll in the work session last week, you guys agreed to something, but I wasn't really sure exactly what you guys agreed to.
If I may, we request and received a letter of intent for $3,000 worth of in-kind service to the city of Crest Hill at any future date that we requested it.
Okay, so that's,
We're not receiving a physical credit.
no, I understand, okay. So what is the intention to be done with that?
If we have a special pickup, like for a storm, if we have a special pickup for a city events or something, the credit will be in the letter up to that amount of I'm sure if they were small events, they'd credit both of them, I don't know, but it's a total of $3,000 worth of credit.
So the residents that were damaged by not getting service and paying for the service are paying for some other service that the city is gonna use as a whole?
Well, it's for the whole city, so it's,
Right, but I don't pay the whole city.
The answer to that is yes.
Okay,
As a case in point, that refund on a per household basis would have amounted to be $2 per household. So we received additional monies in that in-kind consideration. I know it's not fair to those that were inconvenienced, but other alternative was, through all that misery, is to try and rebate to each of those individuals $2.
Not only that, the time that it was going to cost us to process, the $2 will be a lot more to spend the stamp and our.
no, again, I'm
saying,
just trying to understand
clarification, we look at
what
the
the
big
outcome
picture.
was.
I understand, but as a council, sometimes we look at the big
Understood.
picture, we look at everything, every detail.
Thank you.
I just want to make a quick comment, Mayor, if I might. Also, we gotta give credit to Mrs. Dyke. She was here for 2 years, if not more, and so as Alderman Dyke, talking about those houses and those areas. So that took a lot of work for a lot of time, so we should not forget everyone that was involved. And thank you, Chief, for continuing on looking for that area.
Anybody else? Okay.
Mayor, I just have one more, never mind.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we talked about the Walgreens, and it was interesting that news came out today that the Dow Jones Industrial Average is 30 companies in the US, and they actually are taking Walgreens out and putting Amazon in as one of the companies in the Dow Jones. It was just announced today. So, sign of the times, and very disappointing, but thank you, Ron, for following up with that.
Well, when you think back to how Walgreens was filing bankruptcy years ago, and then they had this massive comeback where they were on almost every corner, and, I think they kind of overbuilt, because they're everywhere now, but.
I think Walgreens shut down about 150 last year, so.
Again this year, that's
yeah,
the number.
sign of the times, so.
And also, Big Lots are closing a lot in Illinois, but I did call the Crest Hill one, and they're not gonna close it down, just so you know.
My son is a pharmacy manager. He's probably gonna be filling out an application for Amazon.
Okay, to Chris Spacia and Tony Graff, is there a need for an executive session?
Nothing from me, sir.
Okay.
Nothing for me.
All right, meeting is adjourned at 8:09 PM. I thank you and good evening.
Mayor, we need a motion.
Motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
We got a motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Boucher for an adjournment. Roll call, please.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, meeting is adjourned at 8:09 PM. Thank you and good evening.